Motor, J Motor, J Motor, J Motor, recognize Heckler House, Heckler House. Oh, 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 oh.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truths Be Told. So nothing major new in the news. Same crap going on. You got the couple wars or whatever, and then the Democrats are trying to take out Trump, but they're failing at it. It's not going good for them. So let's get on to what I really wanted to talk to you about this week. I mentioned in the previous video that I got several things on the back burner, so we got a lot of stuff coming up. A couple video game reviews and a few TV shows. I started watching and I know it's been on for a while, that Naked and Afraid. So I'll give you some reviews on that show eventually too. But I wanted to mention that I tried to watch this show. I like competition shows, if they're decent. Stuff like, Forged in Fire and, The Amazing Race. I like The Amazing Race, of course. This season was okay for The Amazing Race. It was alright, but they need to do something different. The same old shit over and over is getting a little old. I don't know what the hell was with this season, but they stayed in freaking like around the Dominican Republic or whatever, South America. They did the whole season there. Which gave the gay couple that won a huge advantage because one of them was from that area. But I tried to watch this new show called The Summit. It's an Australian show where they're supposedly supposed to climb this mountain and get to the top. The show tells them, you have so much, there's $1 million at stake. They choose like 13 people, 14, I can't remember the exact number. Each one of them's carrying like 70 grand in their backpacks or whatever, and they all got to make it to the summit for them to split the million. And then they have, some of them won't make it to the top, depending on whether one of the other players steal the money, they get rid of the people, or they have what they call the Mountaineer, which is basically just a chopper that gives them little notes on to do stuff. If the Mountaineer gets rid of them, they can continue with their money. But if they decide to leave someone behind because they're slowing down the other people, the group, they lose that money. Like they can't get it back. That's like 70 grand gone. They all have to make it up there together. like I said, if they leave someone behind or knock someone off, through voting or whatever, they don't get that money that that person was carrying. Um, and the tasks are, it's just silly because they have these tasks like they got to cross a rope bridge or some shit like that. But they're wearing harnesses and stuff, so nothing really bad's happening to them, blah, blah, blah. It's cheesy and it's not a good show. It sucks. I didn't like it. Somebody else might, but I didn't care for it. But I just wanted to mention that I tried to watch that show and it just wasn't my type of show when it comes to competition shows. So the big thing I want to talk to you about is I just got done this weekend watching that Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Bullshit. Not even close. And there's so many people dunking on this movie. I mean, it had two good aspects. Number one, George Miller. He hasn't lost his touch as far as action scenes go. He still can provide the action. So the action scenes were actually decent in the movie, of course. The the bad guy played by Chris Hemsworth, he actually stole the show. Chris Hemsworth was really good in this movie. So there are a couple of good aspects of the movie. However, this is a character nobody wanted, nobody cares about. So why they did this, it just makes no sense. There's a lot of the girl boss crap in it, of course. At the very beginning they show this, where she comes from or whatever. It's like all the women are running the place and they're all badasses, fucking just including her mother, and I'm just like, get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. I like the idea, the way he made it sound, the story wise. I like the whole concept of there being a ton of gangs in the wasteland. And they're all fighting all the time over resources and shit. However, he kind of like, even though he mentions that at the beginning, like that's how it started, now all of a sudden it's just these two particular gangs, one led by Chris Hemsworth, the crazy Dominicus or whatever the fuck he called himself, and then the white haired dude, I can't remember what his name is, but it's like they're the only two gangs going at it now. And I'm just like, well, what the fuck happened to all the other gangs? Where'd they go? Anyways, he had this concept where the white haired dude, he kind of runs like these three fortresses or whatever of the wasteland. One makes like ammunition and guns and crap like that. Another one is called Gas Town, which of course produces oil and gas. And then he stays at what's called the Citadel, which basically produces all the food for his people or his gang or whatever. They're fanatics. They will die like a drop of a dime for this motherfucker. They're nuts. His soldiers or whatever. Anyways, Demetrius or whatever the fuck his name is, he comes rolling in. He wants to take over all his shit. He strikes a deal with him, and then he gives Furiosa over to him as a bride or whatever, and he takes over Gastown and runs Gastown for him. Well, he eventually gets tired of that, and he takes over the Bullet. They call it the Bullet Fortress or some shit, the one where they make the guns and shit. They take over that too. Some of his gang goes rogue. Like the one cool boss he had, the Octo boss. I like the actor who plays him too. He kind of goes rogue on him. He's one of his generals at first, but he goes rogue on him. The whole, don't get me wrong, George is great with the action crap, but seeing the tanker and them defending a tanker constantly, it's getting a little old. He does it again in this one. It's like, let's do something new, instead of just defending a tanker. That concept's gotten a little old. Like I said, he had some concepts of his story that, at first it seemed pretty cool, but then the rest of it just went to shit. Like, why the fuck, if she knows the stars of how to get home, why the fuck is she putting it on her fucking arm as a tattoo? That's just dumb as shit. That made no sense. Just certain stuff like that. The whole thing where she gets her arm cut off or whatever. She gets it mangled between these tires or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's how she loses her arm. But then he ties her up to a chain, and then all of a sudden she's able to yank her arm off and cut it off, and then jump on a bike and take off. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. So dumb. But there were just certain quirks like that. It's just ridiculous. And people are just, they're tired of it. I mean, they have a cameo of Mad Max in there, but it don't show Tom Hardy as Mad Max. You just see this guy standing beside the car when she got her arm cut off. And supposedly Mad Max saw her walking in the desert or riding a bike. She passes out or whatever, and he takes her and drops her off in the town, or supposedly, or whatever, like they met before. And I'm just like, get the fuck, whatever. Like I said, the story was lame. We didn't need it anyway. We already knew her story, so this movie was pointless. Nobody likes this character. I mean, you should see all the reviews of this movie. Nobody liked this movie. Nobody liked it. I didn't even really care for the first one that he did 10 years ago. It just, I wasn't a fan of Tom Hardy. I like Tom Hardy as an actor. He didn't fit the part of Mad Max. And it should be Mel Gibson as the old Mad Max, handing it over to like his son or someone close to him who becomes the new Mad Max, but they didn't do that. And I don't think we're going to get Mel Gibson as one last time as Mad Max, even though that's how it should be. I think they should have gone back to, after Thunderdome, when he helped them kids, whatever, he's been staying with them, as old Mad Max, and maybe he adopted a son or something, and he passes it on to him. But whatever. I wouldn't say this movie was unwatchable, but I give it a thumbs up and a thumbs down, just because Chris Hemsworth was awesome in this movie. He was great, and the action sequences wasn't bad, but they did CGI the fuck out of this movie. I mean, you could tell like half the movie was CGI'd. It was ridiculous. Way too much CGI. Anyways, that's my thoughts on that movie. That's my review. That was, some truth and facts and my opinion on it. Alright, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. Alright, Movieholics, this week is Sci-Fi Week. And I went with the 70s on this one. A couple movies from the 70s. A movie called Glen and Randa. Supposed to be like a post-apocalyptic movie. It was done in 1971. There is no box office numbers for it. It starred Steve Curry and Shelley Plimpton. Basically, the story is about this young couple. She's in love with him and does whatever he basically wants to do, even though she complains about it all the time throughout the entire movie. I would say the first hour is them contemplating on traveling. He wants to go to the city. He keeps talking about wanting to go see the city because he read it in a book, like a comic book or some Wonder Woman. He mentions Wonder Woman quite a bit. So he wants to go see what the city's like. There's this old man traveling barter type dude, entertainer. He shows up and he talks to him a little bit about the city and telling him, you guys don't want to go there. It's not that great, blah, blah, blah. He gives them a map of the state they're in. I think it was Idaho that they were in. He gives them a map and kind of shows the young guy how to, Glen or whatever, how to read the map. Uh, Randa, she goes with him even though she's reluctant about it. So, and they're all wearing clothes. Like, it hasn't been very long after I guess the bomb fell. They don't really explain what happened, but I'm guessing it has, the cover of the poster shows a bomb, an atomic bomb. So I'm guessing there was a bombs dropped or whatever. You don't really see any really huge landmarks that look like they've been destroyed or something. You don't see any of that. You just see them digging through piles of trash and shit at the very beginning or whatever. But they're all wearing clothes. Yeah, they're all torn up and shit, but most of them clothes would have been gone. But and they still have like electricity and gas and stuff, so it doesn't seem like it's been very long since the bombs dropped or whatever. Anyways, they go traveling after they get the map, looking for the city. And they come across this old man on a beach. And they get to, he tells them that they could stay at this house, and they're like, what's a house? So he shows them the house. It's basically just a trailer. It looks like it's been there for a while, a number of years, and it's just, it's mud caked and all kinds of crap, but it's still livable. He even has to tell them what a TV is. There's a TV in there, and blah blah blah. But Randa, or whatever her name is, she ends up pregnant. The child kills her during childbirth. Yeah, so the old man and the young man repair this boat he had been working on, the old man, and they take the newborn and sell off. Not sure where they were planning on going. It doesn't really say. And that's the end of the movie. The movie's pretty slow. There's no action in it or anything like that. And the vast majority of the movie is them literally just walking around. They find this horse and they start traveling with the horse. And that's pretty much the vast majority of the movie. Like the whole middle sequence. Like the first 30 minutes is them getting the map, and then the rest of it, the vast majority of the movie is them walking around with this horse, which they eventually kill and eat. And then, the last 30 minutes is her pregnant and them with the old man. I was able to watch it, but it was boring as fuck. Like I said, it's pretty slow. I really didn't care for it. I didn't think it was that good at all. I give it 2 thumbs down. You can watch it if you want to, but I didn't care for it. The next one was done in 1976. It didn't have any box office numbers. This is a movie done in Spain, so it's been dubbed. It was called something else over there, like Ultima Deso or some shit like that. But over here, it's called The People Who Own the Dark. Um, it starred Alberto de Mendoza and Nadaguska. Hopefully I got those names right. Or pronounced them right. This basically, I don't know, it starts off like they're having some weird sex party in this castle that this woman owns who's hosting it. Like she brings in several women and the guys got to wear these masks. They're all like wealthy men or some shit. But anyways, as they're starting the party or whatever, all of a sudden the whole place starts shaking and crap. And they all think, you know, the atomic bomb is dropped or there's been bombs dropped. Just not right on top of them, but near them somewhere. They go check out the town to get supplies or whatever. And come to find out, everyone is blind. They discovered that, you know, right off the bat, there's two maids there, and they both ended up blinded because they were upstairs while everybody else was downstairs, like in the basement or some shit. I don't know. But the townsfolk are all blind. Well, one of the guys, the young one, which, you know, the woman, the head of the castle, she was kind of like his mistress or whatever. He goes nuts for whatever reason, don't make no sense. He just starts popping off caps into a lot of these people, killing them. And then later on, you know, the blind people, later on in the movie, the blind people decide to extract revenge and start killing him. And then they go to the castle to kill him in the castle. And it was just like, get the fuck out of here. They're blind. What the hell? That makes no sense. Anyways, the people in the castle, they decide to try to sneak out. And then most of them get killed by the blind people. Two of them actually managed to get out. They hear on this radio, like some only one station broadcasted that there was help if they went to the highway and stayed on the highway and headed south. So these two that escaped the castle and the blind people, they make it to a road, and these two guys in hazmat suits in driving this bus puts them on the bus but locks the door to the bus, so you know something shady's going on. As they're driving the bus, they fume the inside the bus, the interior of the bus, with some type of poisonous gas, and it kills everybody. And then at the very end, you see them dumping the bodies in this ditch or ravine from the bus. Like there were other people on the bus, but they killed them all and then dumped their bodies in this ravine. That's pretty much the end of the movie. Again, you don't see any destruction from the bombs falling, if that's what was supposed to happen. They just kind of insinuate it. I thought the whole everyone's blind concept was kind of dumb. But whatever. It was okay for what it was. For an Italian film, it was watchable. But at the same time, it was just silly. It didn't make any sense. I give it thumbs up, thumbs down. It really wasn't all that good. But it was watchable. Maybe a one-time watch. Check it out if you want. I didn't really see what it had a lot to do with sci-fi. You know, just a bunch of blind people attacking them. You know, and the insinuation of atomic bombs. That's the only sci-fi element in the whole entire movie. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you could think of any underrated or B movies that you think I may never even heard of or know about, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. That's all I have for you this week. I told you you'd be told the truth, and you've just been told.